Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. The question seems simple enough. Can 3 days truly change your life? The answer lies in the power of habit. If you understand the profound impact habits can have on our lives, you will agree that yes, even a short span of 3 days can spark significant transformations. The ancient Stoics, who mastered the art of intentional living, believed that our daily actions directly influence our destiny. As Epictetus famously said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This reflects the essence of Stoic thought. Adopting the right habits makes change inevitable. Modern psychology backs this claim. Research reveals that small, consistent changes in behavior when done deliberately can bring about dramatic shifts in mindset, productivity, and overall happiness. The key is to focus on habits that align with your values and goals. In this video, we're going to explore 6 Stoic-inspired habits. When practiced over just 3 days, these habits can initiate profound shifts in your life. Simple yet transformative, these practices are designed to bring clarity, focus, and resilience into your daily routine. Imagine beginning each day not with stress, rush, or distractions, but with a clear sense of purpose and intention. This is the core of the Stoic practice of morning reflection, a habit that grounds you, sets the tone for your day, and helps you live intentionally. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, highlighted the importance of this in his Meditations. Writing, "When you rise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This practice is not about chasing grand ambitions, but about starting the day with clarity and purpose. Morning reflection encourages you to take a moment to pause and consider 3 key aspects. First, what lies ahead? Visualize the day and mentally prepare for the tasks, interactions, and obstacles you may encounter. By anticipating challenges, you are better prepared to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Second, your intentions reflect on what you want to achieve today, not just in terms of tasks, but also your character. Will you embody patience, kindness, or discipline? Setting these intentions helps you focus not just on completing tasks, but on shaping your behavior and mindset in alignment with your values. Lastly, your control. Stoics emphasize the importance of distinguishing between what you can and cannot control. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. By recognizing what is within your control, you avoid frustration and focus on the things you can change, like your thoughts and responses. To implement this habit, spend just 5 minutes each morning journaling or reflecting. Write down your goals, the qualities you wish to exhibit, and any challenges you anticipate. For example, if you're expecting a tough meeting, mentally prepare yourself to approach it with calmness and detachment. By practicing this morning reflection, you set the tone for the day, ensuring you approach everything with intention rather than reacting out of habit or stress. Over time, this small but powerful habit helps you build a life rooted in purpose, composure, and emotional resilience, guiding you toward a more intentional and fulfilling day. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience and strength is by intentionally stepping outside of your comfort zone. The Stoics understood the value of discomfort, not as something to be avoided, but as an opportunity for growth. Rather than fearing discomfort, they embraced it as a tool to build mental and emotional fortitude. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, advised that we should occasionally endure discomfort to strengthen our character. He even suggested setting aside certain days to live with the simplest, most modest conditions. By embracing discomfort, we gain freedom, not the kind that comes from avoiding challenges, but the kind that comes from knowing we can handle whatever life throws at us. This practice of voluntary discomfort involves pushing yourself to endure small struggles in a controlled way. It starts with simple actions like taking a cold shower, skipping a meal, or walking instead of driving. These acts, while seemingly small, help you realize that discomfort is not as overwhelming as it might seem. Instead of avoiding discomfort, you begin to see it as an opportunity to grow stronger. Over time, these small discomforts help build resilience and increase your capacity to handle bigger challenges with ease. By enduring controlled discomfort, you also begin to appreciate the simple comforts in life. When you choose to live without certain luxuries or conveniences, you develop a deeper sense of gratitude for the things you normally take for granted. A hot shower, a comfortable chair, or a full meal all become sources of appreciation rather than entitlement. This practice not only makes you more resilient, but also shifts your focus from temporary pleasures to lasting inner strength. Furthermore, embracing discomfort helps reduce your dependence on material comforts. The less you rely on external luxuries, the more free you become. Voluntary discomfort teaches you to find contentment from within, rather than seeking constant pleasure from the outside world. This mental shift empowers you to view discomfort not as something to be feared, but as a valuable teacher and opportunity to grow stronger and more self-reliant. In the end, the practice of voluntary discomfort aligns with Stoic principles of courage, discipline, and self-control. It prepares you to face life's trials with unwavering strength, knowing that you have the mental resilience to handle whatever comes your way. By embracing discomfort, you build the kind of inner strength that will carry you through life's inevitable struggles, making you more capable and confident in the face of adversity. How often do we find ourselves overwhelmed by our emotions, reacting impulsively without truly considering the consequences of our actions? In the rush of daily life, it's easy to allow our feelings to dictate how we respond to situations, often leading to regret or unnecessary conflict. The Stoics, however, understood the immense power of emotional control. For them, the ability to master one's emotions was not merely a sign of self-discipline, but a fundamental aspect of living a virtuous life. Epictetus, one of the central figures of Stoic philosophy, encapsulated this idea perfectly when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom highlights a central tenet of Stoicism. External events are beyond our control, but our response to them is entirely within our power. And this is where the practice of pausing before reacting becomes a powerful tool. The Stoic approach to emotional control isn't about suppressing or ignoring feelings, but about taking a step back before allowing emotions to dictate our actions. By pausing before responding, we regain control over our emotions and give ourselves the space to choose a response that is aligned with our values and long-term goals, rather than a reaction driven by the immediate surge of emotion. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, acknowledging that while we cannot control the world around us, we have the power to control how we choose to engage with it. Imagine a situation where you are criticized at work, in a social setting, or even by a close friend. The first impulse might be to defend yourself, justify your actions, or even retaliate with criticism of your own. In those moments of stress or frustration, the instinct is often to react immediately, to respond in the heat of the moment. However, the Stoics taught that true strength lies in the ability to pause, to take a step back and consider the situation before speaking or acting. By taking just a few seconds to breathe and reflect, we create the space necessary to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This simple pause allows us to realign our reaction with our deeper values. Just as an archer must take careful aim before releasing the arrow, we too must pause and aim our responses carefully. In the heat of an emotional moment, we often feel as if our emotions are controlling us. But the Stoics understood that pausing gives us the freedom to control our emotions instead. When we pause, we allow ourselves the opportunity to ask, what is the most effective response to this situation? How can I respond in a way that reflects my true character? Is this worth reacting to, or is it better to let it go? By considering these questions, we regain our inner strength and composure. One of the first steps in cultivating this habit is to identify our emotional triggers to situations or actions that tend to provoke an immediate emotional response. It might be a rude comment, an unexpected setback, or an argument that threatens to escalate. By becoming aware of these triggers, we can begin to condition ourselves to recognize when a pause is needed. The goal isn't to avoid emotions altogether, but to pause long enough to consider whether they should drive our actions. For example, when faced with criticism, instead of immediately reacting with defensiveness, we might ask ourselves, is this criticism constructive? Is this an opportunity to learn, or is it an attempt to provoke me? This simple mental shift allows us to decide how to engage in a way that reflects who we want to be, not just in the moment, but as a person of integrity and wisdom. The true power of pausing before reacting lies in the fact that it allows us to align our response with our values rather than reacting out of habit or emotion. Over time, the pause becomes second nature. It becomes a reflex, a moment where we step back, breathe, and consider the best course of action. This isn't about suppressing emotions or denying how we feel. It's about recognizing that our emotions, while valid, don't always have to control our actions. We can acknowledge them, understand them, and choose how to respond in a way that is measured and deliberate. A calm, thoughtful response reflects inner strength and wisdom, while impulsive reactions often lead to regret or unnecessary conflict. When we react impulsively, we are driven by the moment and may say or do things we later regret. The pause gives us the opportunity to step outside of that immediate emotional rush and respond with clarity and purpose. The more we practice this habit, the more we will find ourselves navigating life's challenges with the composure of a true Stoic calm, in the face of adversity, measured in our actions, and always in control of our emotional responses. Pausing before reacting is an essential tool for cultivating emotional resilience. It allows us to meet life's challenges with wisdom and grace, rather than being swept away by the waves of emotion. By embracing this habit, we free ourselves from the tyranny of impulsive reactions and gain the power to respond in a way that reflects our highest self. This practice, rooted in Stoic philosophy, can transform not only how we react to life's challenges, but also how we approach every aspect of our lives with patience, composure, and wisdom. In today's fast-paced world, multitasking is often glorified and seen as a sign of efficiency. But the Stoics understood that true productivity and mindfulness come from focusing on one task at a time. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." This simple yet profound idea highlights the dangers of spreading oneself too thin. When we try to juggle multiple tasks simultaneously, our attention becomes fragmented, leading to a decrease in the quality of our work and an increase in stress. The Stoic principle of single tasking, however, invites us to do the opposite, to commit fully to one task, which brings a sense of control, calm, and clarity. The modern world has conditioned us to believe that multitasking is an essential skill. We think that by doing multiple things at once, we can accomplish more, but in reality, this scattershot approach to work often leaves us feeling overwhelmed, distracted, and less efficient. When we divide our attention between several things, we may end up doing all of them poorly, never fully immersing ourselves in any one activity. The Stoic approach to work, however, teaches us that by focusing on a single task, we can bring our full attention to it, allowing us to perform at our best and experience greater satisfaction in the process. Seneca's wisdom offers us a way out of this modern trap of constant distraction. By focusing on one task at a time, we not only enhance our productivity, but we also embrace mindfulness. Mindfulness, in Stoic terms, means living deliberately, engaging fully with the present moment, and doing our best in everything we do. Instead of rushing from one task to the next, trying to do it all, we bring our energy and attention into the here and now. Whether it's writing an email, having a conversation, or cleaning, committing to one task at a time means you give it your full effort, which in turn helps you achieve better results. One of the most effective ways to implement this habit is by using time blocking, or the Pomodoro technique. These strategies allocate specific periods of time to focus exclusively on one task, helping you resist the urge to check emails, social media, or shift between unrelated tasks. Time blocking helps you create clear boundaries around your work, while the Pomodoro technique encourages short, focused bursts of effort followed by short breaks, ensuring you stay energized and engaged throughout the task. The beauty of single tasking is that it allows you to make better decisions and experience a deeper sense of flow. When your attention is not scattered across multiple tasks, your mind operates more clearly, enabling you to think critically and solve problems more effectively. Additionally, you are more likely to stay in the present moment, rather than constantly thinking about what's next. This mental presence is essential for cultivating focus and achieving mastery in whatever task you undertake. From a Stoic perspective, committing to one task at a time aligns perfectly with the philosophy of living with intention. It reflects a commitment to doing your best in the here and now, regardless of the outcome. The Stoics believe that we should not be concerned with external results, but instead focus on the effort we put into our actions. Single tasking is a reflection of this mindset. It's not about cramming more tasks into your day, but about dedicating your full self to each task, with patience and diligence, and letting go of the need for immediate gratification or external validation. By embracing the habit of single tasking, you not only improve your productivity and effectiveness, but you also practice the Stoic virtue of discipline. You learn to control your impulses, resist distractions, and commit to doing each task with excellence. In a world that constantly pulls our attention in different directions, this practice serves as a reminder to slow down, focus, and perform each task with mindfulness and purpose. This habit, rooted in Stoic wisdom, invites us to live with greater clarity and intentionality, both in our work and in our lives. Self-reflection is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and it's through this practice that we deepen our understanding of ourselves and our actions. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, famously posed 3 questions at the end of each day. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? What did I leave undone? These questions reflect the Stoic commitment to continuous self-examination and personal growth. The goal is not to dwell on mistakes or become mired in self-criticism, but to use the day's experiences as an opportunity for reflection, learning, and improvement. By incorporating gratitude into this evening review, we shift our focus from what went wrong to what is abundant in our lives. Gratitude, in Stoic terms, is not simply an emotional reaction to positive events. It is a conscious practice that allows us to recognize the many things, big or small, that bring meaning and fulfillment to our lives. Stoics believe that by practicing gratitude, we become less attached to external outcomes and more connected to the present moment. This shift in perspective is crucial because it helps us appreciate what we have. Instead of focusing on what we lack, gratitude fosters contentment, allowing us to end the day in a state of peace and acceptance, free from the anxieties or regrets that may have accompanied us earlier. To practice this habit, begin by taking a few moments each night to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for, whether they are significant moments or small, seemingly inconsequential details. Perhaps it's the warmth of a kind word, the satisfaction of completing a challenging task, or simply the fact that you were able to connect with a loved one. These small reflections shift your attention from the negative aspects of your day to the many positive elements, helping you end the evening with a sense of fulfillment and gratitude. Once you've reflected on what you're grateful for, turn your attention to reviewing your actions. Ask yourself, how did I handle the challenges I faced today? Did I respond to adversity with patience and resilience? Were my actions aligned with the values I strive to uphold? This process isn't about self-judgment, but about gaining insight into how you navigated the day and identifying areas for growth. Perhaps you could have been more patient or shown greater discipline in a particular situation. Alternatively, you may have handled a challenge with grace and courage. The Stoics viewed these moments of self-reflection not as a means of criticizing oneself, but as an opportunity to improve. By acknowledging where we can grow, we better prepare ourselves to meet future challenges with greater strength and wisdom. Ending the day with gratitude and review is more than just a practical exercise. It's an intentional way of transforming our evenings into a sacred space for personal growth. In a world that constantly pulls us in multiple directions, this nightly practice helps us slow down, reflect, and take stock of our progress. It allows us to evaluate whether we are living in alignment with our higher purpose and whether we are moving closer to becoming the person we aspire to be. As we make gratitude and reflection a habit, we cultivate the ability to embrace each day with greater awareness and self-control. This practice ensures that we don't just move through life on autopilot, reacting to events as they come. Instead, it empowers us to live deliberately, with intention, focusing on our internal growth rather than external circumstances. By reviewing our actions and expressing gratitude each night, We lay the foundation for a life of wisdom, resilience, and peace. This simple habit prepares us to face the next day with renewed strength, clarity, and purpose. We wake up each morning not only ready to embrace new opportunities, but also grounded in the knowledge that we are constantly growing, learning, and becoming the best versions of ourselves. The Stoic practice of gratitude and review teaches us that every day is a chance to reflect, improve, and move closer to the life we desire to live. In the Stoic tradition, silence was not simply the absence of speech. It was a profound practice of restraint, wisdom, and intentionality. The Stoics deeply understood the power of words and the impact they have on both our own lives and our relationships with others. Epictetus, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, captured this wisdom succinctly when he said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet powerful observation reveals a fundamental truth. The more we speak, the less we listen, and the less we listen, the more we miss. By speaking less and listening more, we not only cultivate wisdom, but also deepen our connections with others and create more meaningful, authentic relationships. The practice of speaking sparingly allows our words to carry more weight. In a world where constant communication often results in mindless chatter, Stoicism urges us to reflect on the value of silence. When we speak less, we speak with intention, clarity, and purpose. Our words become more thoughtful, more deliberate, and therefore more impactful. When we avoid gossip, unnecessary arguments, or impulsive remarks, we give ourselves the space to speak when it truly matters, and when we do, our words can create understanding, influence change, and foster stronger connections. But listening, as the Stoics emphasized, is just as important as speaking thoughtfully. True listening is not passive. It requires active engagement, attention, and empathy. In practice, listening more means fully focusing on the person speaking without rushing to formulate your next reply or judgment. It's about being curious, open, and present in the moment. By truly listening, we understand not only the words the other person is saying, but also the emotions, motivations, and perspectives behind those words. This deeper level of understanding allows us to respond with greater compassion, insight, and wisdom. The Stoic practice of listening also builds empathy. When we listen without interruption or judgment, we validate the experiences and feelings of others, creating a sense of connection and trust. This empathy fosters a deeper sense of community and strengthens our relationships. It allows us to transcend surface-level exchanges and move toward more meaningful dialogues that enrich our lives and contribute to the well-being of those around us. However, speaking less is not just about avoiding unnecessary chatter. It is also about learning to master silence. Silence, for the Stoics, was not a void to be feared, but a space to cultivate inner clarity. In moments of silence, we can observe our thoughts and emotions, gaining a better understanding of ourselves and our reactions. Silence provides us with the time and space to reflect, to process, and to respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. It allows us to cultivate self-control and to align our responses with our values, rather than being driven by fleeting emotions or external pressures. As we embrace the habit of speaking less and listening more, we transform our interactions with others. We move from a mindset of self-centeredness and defensiveness to one of openness and genuine curiosity. We learn to value quality over quantity in our communication, allowing us to engage more meaningfully with the world around us. By practicing silence and reflection, we become more discerning in our speech, choosing our words carefully and thoughtfully, and ensuring that our interactions are rooted in integrity and respect. Over time, this habit shapes us into people of greater wisdom, patience, and understanding. We become individuals who communicate with clarity, humility, and purpose. The Stoic ideal is not simply to be silent for the sake of silence, but to use our silence and our words to deepen our understanding, connect with others on a more meaningful level, and live with greater integrity. In a world that often prioritizes noise and constant communication, the Stoic practice offers a powerful reminder of the value of speaking less and listening more, of cultivating the inner strength to be present, to understand, and to respond with wisdom. Transformation is not achieved through dramatic, sweeping changes or fleeting resolutions that fade with time. True, lasting change comes from small, consistent action habits that we practice day in and day out with intention and awareness. The Stoic habits we've explored are not mere strategies for living a better life, but rather they are guiding principles that can fundamentally reshape how we approach each moment, how we navigate challenges, and how we cultivate inner peace and strength. These habits, rooted in timeless Stoic wisdom, are tools for not just surviving life, but for thriving in it with purpose, clarity, and resilience. The beauty of these habits lies in their simplicity. They are accessible, not reserved for the extraordinary few, but for anyone willing to practice them consistently. Change doesn't have to be overwhelming or unattainable. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, offers profound insight when he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful statement reveals a core truth about transformation. We cannot always control the events that occur in our lives, but we have absolute control over how we respond to them. The practices of reflection, discomfort, and mindfulness in our responses give us the ability to shape our experiences from within, transforming our mindset, our approach to life's difficulties, and our relationships with others. When we begin to incorporate these small but intentional habits into our lives, whether it's pausing before reacting, reflecting each morning, or embracing discomfort, we're slowly but surely reshaping the way we experience life. At first, these habits may feel small or insignificant. A few minutes of morning reflection, a brief pause in a conversation, or a moment of discomfort might seem trivial. But over time, as these habits accumulate, they produce profound shifts in how we relate to ourselves, others, and the world around us. Consider what might happen if you committed to practicing these habits for just 3 days. In those 3 days, imagine yourself more composed, more focused, and more aligned with your core values. Picture yourself moving through your day with a greater sense of purpose, with the ability to pause and reflect rather than react impulsively, with the strength to embrace discomfort instead of avoiding it. These changes may not make you perfect, but they will lead you toward progress. And progress, however small, is the true measure of transformation. This is the essence of Stoicism: constant, incremental growth toward becoming the best version of yourself. It's important to remember that transformation is a journey, not a destination. The path to becoming a Stoic, or living a life of virtue and wisdom, is a lifelong practice. Each day, you have the opportunity to practice these habits, to improve and refine your responses, to build your resilience, and to cultivate the clarity that allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom. Let today be the day you commit to your own growth, not because anyone else expects it, but because you deserve it. You deserve a life of strength, clarity, and purpose, one where you are the master of your mind and your actions. Embrace the process of transformation, and remember that every small habit practiced consistently brings you one step closer to the life you want to lead. It is through these small, intentional actions that true transformation occurs, leading you toward a life that reflects your highest aspiration and inner strength. If this message resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you create the life you truly deserve.